I came to be involved with this family. There was a number of issues that were made known to Children's Services that all sort of culminated with the parents being arrested. And so the situation was that the children were going to be coming into care over the process of a day that took. Ended up talking with the mom in police cells and took some time to get to kind of work through the emotions that she was going through and sort of the trouble that was going there, and spent some time with her and was able to build a family tree is the simplest way to put it, but to talk to her a little bit about who was the closest family to her on her side, and then who was the closest family to Dad on his side, and was given a few names of people that I could begin looking into as far as a kinship placement arrangement. So the first two names that were on my list worked through on that day. Because of the situation that happened, I was not able to find a way to be able to contact the people that day. And so the decision was made that the children were going to be in an emergency foster home until further family members could be identified, located, and contacted.
When we first heard that they were apprehended, I could not tell you how I felt. My past came to the forefront. Because you see, I too was apprehended. And it was not a very good place to be. But we knew what we had to do. We had to stay strong. We had to stay strong together as a family and not allow that to happen again. It'll be 1 year on May 31st when we lost our center pole in our family. She was my dear mother. And she taught us about family, keeping the family together. When that center pole fell, May 31st, 2012, all of our family fell apart. All the poles fell from the teepee. We had to rebuild that relationship within our family because my mom was the one that kept us together. And being the oldest, being the mama bear, I had to take all the strength that I had within myself to walk this path. When I received that call on November 8th, when my little ones were taken, I called Kathleen and I told her this was Saturday when I received that message that 2 of my family members were taken.
There's no funding, no money that goes for that, but we take on that additional role because we want to, because we love the children. There is a sense of responsibility we have as First Nations individuals that work within child services to do something, to make a difference. The only difference that we're ever going to make is if we take a risk and do things differently, really speak from the heart, really engage in one another's discussions, to really hear. And it's heartbreaking to hear the story that Doris and Donna shared today. The losses of those little children, nobody knew that. because there are policies, there are certain things that we just feel compelled to follow. And yes, I do need to, everybody needs to follow the regulations, legislation, but there's those certain times where we need to step outside and look at the reality of what happens. For me, it made me think about my grandchildren, my children. How would I feel if somebody took them and put them somewhere and I couldn't get to them over a weekend?
First thing Monday morning, I went to see Caleb, and I tell you, I ripped him apart. I said, what you did, I said, you're dealing with my blood.
Donna was right in there and truly a mama bear. That's what mama bears do. They protect their young.
The director was completely in support of Donna and Doris applying for private guardianship under the Family Law Act. Myself and the supervisor advised Doris, Doris, how to obtain the application and referred them to contact Native Counseling Services to assist them with the application. Donna and Doris, with the assistance of Native Counseling, had the application filled out and filed the very same day that they came into our office. So they literally met with us that morning of the 23rd, rushed to St. Paul. Yeah, good job, guys. Met with us that morning, rushed to St. Paul, got the application, rushed to Native Counseling. Their court worker wasn't even there, so I think just the receptionist or somebody helped them fill out the application. They had it filed that day and served who they needed to serve, and were able to bring that application to court the same day that we were going to court, December 3rd, with our application there. So the staff at Tribal Chiefs East were extremely helpful and quick to complete any environmental safety assessments that we needed to be completed. So thank you to Kathleen Gadwa and her staff. They were absolutely phenomenal. On December 3rd, the matter was in court. All parties were in consent of Donna and Doris's private guardianship application. The director's lawyer helped navigate Doris's and Donna's application through the process in front of the judge. He was extremely helpful and kind of was able to explain to the judge what we were hoping for. The judge was very pleased. The order was granted, and therefore our application was withdrawn at that same time. It was an extremely emotional and powerful day and proved the strength and trust in families.
And I give thanks to Kathleen, Caleb, Melanie, and Brandy for bringing everything happened to light. The children are now returned back to their parents, which is a success story. We helped my sister and the family bring them back together, so the two children are now back.
The children need us. They need us. They need us. And I'm so grateful for having the services there. They acted quickly. It was only 6 days. They were in and out because we wanted them back. It's not about what I want to do. It's about duty. It's about responsibility. It's about responsibility to making sure that all children of the world are safe. Not just Aboriginal children. It doesn't matter what color. We are all connected. We are connected. How? Through our hearts, my beloved people, through our hearts. What do you feel when you see that beautiful sunrise come up? You feel it in your heart. What do you see? What do you feel when you see a newborn baby taking that first breath? You feel it in your heart.